I've been paying my family's rent for years. Then one night, my sister accidentally called me, and I heard everything. I didn't say a word. I stayed silent until the next rent was due. I never thought I'd be the kind of person used by her own family, chewed up and spit out, while smiling and handing over hard-earned money like an idiot. But that's exactly who I had been, for years, without ever questioning it. Until the night my sister Alba accidentally called me. It was late, around 11 p.m. I had just gotten home from a grueling shift at work when my phone buzzed, Alba on the screen. Weird. She never called me at that hour. I answered, still half asleep. Hello? No reply. Just muffled voices, laughter, and the clinking of wine glasses. A party. They never invited me to these things. In fact, they barely invited me to anything at all. I was about to hang up when I heard my name. Oh my God, can you believe Olivia still thinks she's helping us? My mother's sharp, amused voice cut through. Alba giggled. She thinks she's some kind of saint. Like we'd be homeless without her. Well, technically, we would, my brother Matthias chimed in. It's her duty, Alba said with disdain. She owes us. I mean, she doesn't have kids, no husband. What else is she gonna spend her money on? A chill ran down my spine. She owes us? Oh, please, my mom scoffed. She doesn't pay out of generosity, she pays because we make her. What else is she gonna do? Let us down? That's why we should ask for more, Alba added casually. She just got a raise. She can afford it. Matthias whistled. Luxury apartment, new car, vacations. She's doing great while we're out here counting coins just to buy a new iPhone. Exactly, Alba huffed. If she really cared, my mom concluded, she'd be covering more than just rent. Groceries. Bills. Spa days. I felt sick. My money wasn't covering needs, it was funding their luxuries. And they acted like they were entitled to it. I wanted to hang up. I wanted to scream. But I just sat there, holding the phone so tightly my fingers hurt, listening as the people I had sacrificed so much for tore me apart like I was nothing. My mom sighed dramatically. I mean, what else is she gonna do, stop paying? They all burst into laughter. My teeth clenched, rage boiling in my veins. They thought I was trapped. That I needed them. That I'd never have the guts to turn off the faucet. They had no idea what was coming. I stayed on the line, heart pounding in my ears like war drums. They still hadn't realized I was there. Alba let out that loud, sharp laugh that always made me feel like the punchline of some joke I didn't understand. Remember when she tried to say no that one time? Matthias snorted. Oh yeah, like 2 years ago. She tried to set boundaries or whatever nonsense that was. My mom laughed. And look how fast she backed down. All we had to do was cry a little and boom, she was begging to help again. Alba sighed. She's such a pushover. She's so afraid of being the bad guy. That's why we always win. Something inside me twisted, hard and violent. This wasn't family helping family. This was a game to them. A power game. And they were enjoying it, laughing while I bled for them. She's so predictable, Matthias said condescendingly. Thinks that if she keeps paying, we'll suddenly respect her. Like, cool, thanks for the rent and all, Alba said sarcastically. But that doesn't mean we have to like her. I didn't even realize how tightly I was gripping my phone until I felt pain in my hands. Alba's voice turned syrupy. I mean, she could be more fun, you know? We're family, but she's all work, work, work. No personality, no social life. At least she's useful for something, my mom said with a laugh. That was the last straw. But I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just kept listening. Because if they thought I was weak, predictable, I was going to give them exactly what they expected. For now. Well, my mom said lightly, we need to talk to her soon. The rent's going up next month. She'll have to cover the difference. Matthias groaned. She'll pull that victim face again, oh no, I can't afford it. He mocked me in a whiny voice. She can pay, she just doesn't want to. Exactly, my mom snapped. She needs to understand, we have needs too. They weren't talking about food or electricity. They were talking about indulgences, things they wanted to buy instead of paying their own rent. Alba clicked her tongue. She's been paying late lately. Maybe we should start reminding her early. Matthias laughed. Good idea. Maybe throw in a sob story, say we're struggling, make it dramatic. And Mom, Alba added, you should cry again. It always works. My mom chuckled. Of course, dear. I know exactly what to say. I sat in silence, staring at the floor, the world tilting beneath me. They were proud of it. Proud of manipulating me. Proud of draining me dry, then laughing behind my back. And they thought they could keep doing it, that I'd never stop them. I swallowed hard, forcing my voice steady, calm. Then I spoke. Hello? The silence was deafening. I looked down at my phone. The screen was black, my finger hovering over the call log as if I needed proof that this had actually happened. They hung up the second they heard my voice. No explanation. No apology. No lie to cover it up. Just a click. I imagined them sitting in my mom's expensive living room, laughter dying in their throats as reality set in. She heard. But my phone stayed silent. No frantic call from Alba. No fake apology from my mom. No half-hearted excuse from Matthias. Nothing. Because they weren't sorry. They were just caught. I took a deep breath, hands trembling, and set my phone on the table. My mind was spinning, replaying every word, every condescending remark, every way they'd shattered me like I was just an ATM with a heartbeat. But I didn't cry. Not this time. I sat there, drumming my fingers on the table, as a plan started forming. They thought they knew me. Thought I'd stay quiet, pretend nothing happened, keep paying their bills like always. But they had no idea. I could already picture their panic when the next rent wasn't paid. The outrage. The audacity they'd need to act like I was the one betraying them. But not yet. I wouldn't cut them off all at once. That would be too easy. Too predictable. If they still thought I was weak, still thought they had control, I'd let them keep thinking that. For now. I picked up my phone and opened the family group chat. It was basically just a long scroll of them asking for money in different forms, Mom's monthly medical excuse, Alba's emergency spa day, Matthias's never-ending car troubles. I typed. Hey, sorry, looks like the call dropped. Think my phone glitched. I stared at the message before sending it. The lie was simple. Harmless. Sorry, looks like the call dropped. Think my phone glitched. A vague excuse that could mean anything. They knew I'd heard something, but they didn't know how much. My palms were sweaty as I tried to keep a neutral expression. I couldn't look shaken. I couldn't look affected. I had to play my cards right. The chat stayed quiet for a few minutes. Then Alba replied in her usual casual tone, as if nothing had happened. "Oh yeah, we were just saying how busy you've been lately. Everything okay?" A trap. They were testing me. Trying to see if I knew. I bit my lip to hold back everything I really wanted to say. I replied. "Yeah, super busy. Work's been crazy." I put my phone down and stood up, my legs shaky. The anger still burned under my skin like hot coals. I walked to the window of my small apartment in Madrid and stared out at the city lights flickering. And I smiled. For years, from a distance, I had sacrificed everything for them. I gave up trips, shopping, and building a life of my own so they could live comfortably. And the whole time, they only saw me as a walking ATM. The memory of my mother mocking me, of Alba and Mateus tearing me down, made my stomach churn. This wasn't over, but I couldn't just stop paying. Not yet. If I wanted them to feel it, really feel it, I had to do it right. I had to play their game. I opened my laptop and pulled up a spreadsheet. Step 1, get my finances in order. I reviewed my accounts and calculated exactly how much money I'd been sending them every month. The number made me dizzy. With that money, I could have saved for my own place. I could have traveled the world. Instead, I threw it all into the whims of a family that didn't even respect me. I closed my eyes and exhaled. I couldn't focus on that now. I had to focus on the plan. The first step would be to plant doubt. If they wanted to keep seeing me as the same old pushover, I'd let them, until it was too late. The opportunity came fast. The next day, my mom sent a message in the family group chat. "Mom, sweetheart, rent's due soon. Don't forget to make the transfer. This time, can you send it a little early? The landlord's asking for advance payment." A lie. I knew it. The landlord had never asked for early payment. They were just trying to squeeze more out of me. I gritted my teeth and replied quickly. "Oh sure, but I'm having an issue with the bank." Apparently, my account was frozen due to a suspicious transaction. They said it'll be resolved in a few days. Silence. Then a message from Alba. "Alba, can't you call them to speed it up? Mom's getting worried." I'm trying." I pictured their faces reading my response, that first flicker of uncertainty. I hadn't said I wouldn't pay. Just that there was a problem. That left them vulnerable. They couldn't pay the rent. They never could. And now, for the first time, they had no guarantee that I would. Hours passed. As expected, my mom tried calling me. I ignored it. Then Alba. Then Mateus. I let the missed calls pile up. "Mateus, hey Olivia, this is serious. Mom's freaking out. Call us." I waited until the evening to respond. Guys, please. I'm doing what I can. I'm not a magician." A valid answer. Realistic, but vague. Unsettling. For the first time in my life, I had them exactly where I wanted. A few days later, with just 24 hours left before the rent was due, my mom finally snapped. "Mom, Olivia, I need to know if you're going to be able to pay or not. I'm still waiting for the bank to release the account." No immediate reply. I imagined their nervous glances, the growing tension in their living room. Then a message from Alba. "Alba, we need to talk. Now." I looked at the screen and smiled. They were feeling the pressure. The uncertainty. For the first time, they were afraid of losing everything. I took a deep breath before replying with the message that would change everything. Me, alright. But this time, things are going to be different. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone screen. Alba's message was still there, we need to talk. Now. My heart pounded in my ears. I knew that conversation would mark a clear before and after. For years, I'd been the submissive one. The one who swallowed humiliation with a smile and opened her wallet without a word. But not anymore. I typed slowly. Alright. But this time, things are going to be different. The read receipt appeared almost instantly. Barely 5 seconds passed before my phone vibrated again, Alba calling. I let it ring for a few moments before answering. I couldn't sound desperate. Or angry. I had to stay in control. Hello? I said, neutral. Olivia, she said, exasperated. What's going on? Mom is hysterical. You said you can't pay the rent? I bit my lip. I didn't say I can't. I said I'm having a banking issue. Silence. I could picture her frowning. But you're going to pay, right? Because if not. There it was. The veiled threat. The same old trick, make me feel guilty, pressure me into giving in. Not this time. I don't know, Alba. Maybe it's time you all start looking for other options. The silence stretched even longer this time. Then she let out a dry laugh. You're not serious. I'm dead serious. Mom is going to lose it. Maybe she needs to learn how to deal with that. Olivia, we're family. And? That doesn't mean you get to treat me like this. You can't do this to us. I can, actually. And more importantly, I want to. You can't just cut us off like this. It's not fair. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. And you think the way you've treated me was fair? It's not the same. To me, it is. Mom will figure something out. A long breath on the other end. Then her voice turned cold. You'll regret this. I smiled. Doubt it. And I hung up. For the first time in years, I felt free. Hours after the call, my phone remained silent. No messages. No guilt trips. No manipulations. I knew what they were doing, waiting for me to cave, for fear to drive me back into my old role. But not this time. I woke up early, made coffee, and sat down in front of my laptop. I'd made my decision the night before. It was time to start cutting ties for good. First priority, security. I logged into my bank and requested a new account. If they had my info, even indirectly, I couldn't risk them accessing anything without my consent. I sighed. This was just the beginning. As soon as I finished, my phone buzzed, unknown number. Something told me to answer. Hello? Silence. Then my mom's voice, low, shaky. Olivia, we need to talk. I closed my eyes. I'm not sure there's anything left to say. Please, sweetheart. Can we meet? Just talk, in person. No yelling. No fighting. I frowned. That wasn't like her. She never asked. She demanded. I'm busy. Please, honey, she said softly. It's important. Something in me wavered. I knew it was a trap. But still. Fine. But in public. Not at home. The cafe in the square? 1 hour. I hung up before she could say more. My heart raced. This wasn't a coincidence. They were scared of losing their free ride. Scared because for the first time I had the power. I got ready quickly and headed to the cafe. The morning sun lit up Madrid in a deceptive glow. As I walked, I mentally rehearsed what I'd say. The boundaries I wouldn't let them cross. I wasn't their puppet anymore. When I arrived, she was already there, sitting by the window, looking more tired than usual. Maybe it really was weighing on her. I sat across from her, no greeting. "What?" I asked flatly. She sighed, adjusting her scarf. "Look, I know you're angry. I understand. But Olivia, we're family. We can't let one argument break us apart." I held back a laugh. "One argument? Mom, this isn't a misunderstanding or a missed birthday. This is a lifetime of emotional abuse and manipulation." She pressed her lips together. "That's not true. We relied on you because we trusted you, because we knew we could count on you." "That's not trust, Mom. That's exploitation." Her expression hardened. "So you're really not paying rent this month?" There it was, the real reason she called me here. I kept calm. "I'm not paying anymore." Her hand clenched into a fist on the table. "What are we supposed to do, then? You're going to leave us on the street? You've had years to figure things out. To work. To become independent. I don't owe you eternal salvation." "You're selfish, Olivia," she spat, anger rising in her voice. "After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us?" I leaned forward, keeping eye contact. "Everything you've done for me? Like laughing behind my back? Saying I'm only good for paying for your luxuries? Thinking I was such an idiot that I never even realized it. And worse, they hid the fact that my money was supporting luxuries, not needs." Her voice faltered a bit. "You heard me?" She actually sounded surprised, for the first time. I stood up. "I hope you find a solution. But I'm not part of this anymore. I don't owe you anything." My mother sobbed, but didn't try to stop me. I walked out of the cafe feeling, for the first time, the weight of her control finally start to lift. But deep down, I knew it wasn't over. They wouldn't give up that easily. And neither would I. The cold morning air hit my face, but it wasn't enough to extinguish the fire burning inside me. I had expected screaming, crying, begging. Instead, I got poison wrapped in fake concern. I wasn't falling for it again. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't check the message. I already knew it would be from my mom, Alba, or Mateus. And I wasn't in the mood for more fake apologies or disguised demands. I kept walking, no destination, letting the morning chaos of Madrid carry me. When I finally got home, I collapsed onto the couch, my mind spinning. I knew they wouldn't stay silent for long, but I had no idea what would come next. It didn't take long to find out. That same afternoon, an unknown number called me. "Hello?" I answered, still tense from the morning. "Good afternoon, Miss Olivia. We're calling from the office of Attorney Herrero regarding a complaint filed by your family." I froze. "Complaint?" "Yes. Your mother, Mrs. Carmen, claims that you're withholding funds unfairly and jeopardizing her housing situation. We'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss the case." They'd actually done it. They'd taken their manipulation to the legal level. I straightened my posture. "Let me be clear, I'm not withholding anything. Until a month ago, I paid all their bills, without any legal obligation. I stopped because I decided I'd had enough." "That's not illegal." The lawyer went silent for a moment. Then, I understand. We just wanted to offer the opportunity to clarify things before any formal action. You're free to proceed with any action you want, I snapped. There is no case. They have no legal grounds. And I hung up before he could say anything else. I was burning with anger. It wasn't enough to emotionally manipulate me, now they wanted to legally trap me into paying? Fine. If they wanted to play dirty, I'd learn to play smarter. I opened my laptop and started writing an email. I contacted my lawyer. I would make sure my family never had access to my finances again. And I had proof, screenshots of messages begging for money for ridiculous reasons, receipts, bank transfers. They weren't going to win. But I also knew they wouldn't give up easily. A few hours later, another message. This time from Alba. If that's what you want, fine. But remember, you have your secrets too. A chill ran down my spine. What was she talking about? What were they planning? And worst of all, with them, I knew anything was possible. I spent the night staring at my phone, reading and rereading her message, you have your secrets too. What did they know? What could they twist? My anxiety gnawed at me. I didn't think I had anything to hide, or did I? I tried to think of anything from my past that they could use. I knew how they operated, twisting truth into weapons, distorting facts into manipulation. I didn't sleep. At sunrise, I got out of bed with one decision: I wouldn't let them get in my head. The best defense was to go on the offense. I picked up my phone and called Alba. It rang several times before she finally answered. Well, look who decided to call, she said sarcastically. Thought you were too busy enjoying your independence. What are you talking about, with that you have your secrets too message? I cut her off. There was a pause, followed by a cold laugh. Oh, Olivia, did you really think you could walk away without consequences? No one abandons their family without paying a price. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm just done being your ATM. Call it what you want, she sneered. But you'll see, it's not so easy to get rid of us. Mom has things to share. And trust me, you'll want to hear them before they go public. My stomach turned. Maybe it was a bluff. But they sounded confident. Tell Mom to say whatever she wants. I'm not playing this game. Oh, she will talk, Alba said venomously. And when she does, we'll see who gets the last laugh. She hung up before I could respond. I stared at my phone, heart pounding. If they thought they could scare me, they were wrong. I would find out what they were planning, and shut it down before it reached me. But when I opened my social media later that day, I realized they had already started. There was a post on my mother's profile. An old photo of us, years ago. The caption read, "When you give everything for your daughter and receive only rejection in return, it's sad how money changes people. I just hope it's not too late for her to realize the damage she's done." Comments poured in. Distant relatives. Family friends. People I barely knew. All giving their opinions. All judging me. Saying I was ungrateful. Saying my mother had sacrificed everything for me. That I was abandoning her. Anger surged through me. Now they weren't just emotionally manipulating me, they were trying to destroy my reputation. I wouldn't let it go unanswered. I grabbed my phone, heart pounding, and typed. I found a recent picture of myself, calm, peaceful. I posted it with this caption. It's always easier to tell only one side of the story. But the truth is different. I didn't abandon anyone. I simply chose to stop being used and manipulated. Sometimes cutting ties is the only way to survive. I hit post without hesitation. Reactions came fast, some supportive, others venomous. Mostly from my mom's allies. I knew this wouldn't be the end, but at least now they wouldn't get away with telling the story their way. My phone rang. Unknown number again. Olivia, what are you doing? It was my Aunt Julia. Her voice sounded concerned. What I have to do, I replied. I'm not going to sit here while they turn me into the villain. I get it, honey, I do. But this is getting out of hand. Your mom's furious. Alba and Mateus are saying you've completely lost it. I let out a bitter laugh. What did they expect? That I'd just stay quiet while they ruin me? I know they've been hard on you, but maybe it's better to talk things out privately? Talk? I repeated, incredulous. Since when do they want to talk without trying to manipulate me? Julia sighed. I'm just warning you, they're going to do something. They won't sit back and let this go. And she hung up. She was right. This was only the beginning. A new message from Alba popped up. You asked for this. Now deal with it. Don't cry later. My stomach turned. What the hell were they planning now? It didn't take long to find out. A friend messaged me. Have you seen what they posted about you? My breath caught as I clicked the link. Mateus had posted a photo of me from years ago at a party, holding a drink and smiling. Harmless. But the caption? Some people pretend to be victims, but in reality, they live lives of selfishness and excess. Sad when someone forgets their roots. The impact was immediate. Hate-filled comments. DMs accusing me of being heartless. Fake stories. Lies. They were rewriting history, painting me as the villain. My blood boiled. But I couldn't lose control. I had to move strategically. They would not get away with this. Not this time. I took a deep breath, opened my laptop, and began gathering everything: old conversations, receipts, screenshots of money transfers, messages where they begged for cash with blatant lies. I knew releasing it would be the point of no return. But I didn't care anymore. They had crossed every line. I opened my social media and started a new post. I wrote slowly, carefully. Since so many people are curious about the truth, here are a few facts you didn't know. For years, I paid my family's rent. Their luxuries. Even their pointless expenses. Never a thank you. Only demands. But the moment I decided to say enough, they tried to destroy me. So here's the proof. I attached multiple screenshots. And hit post. The response was immediate. I was such a fool for never realizing it before. And to think they even hid the fact that my money was going toward their luxuries, not their needs. Her voice cracked a little. You heard me? She actually sounded surprised, for once. I stood up. I hope you figure something out. But I'm no longer a part of this. I don't owe you anything. My mother sobbed but didn't try to stop me. I walked out of the cafe feeling, for the first time, the weight of her control slipping off me. Still, deep down, I knew it wasn't over. They wouldn't give up easily. And neither would I. The cold morning air struck my face as I stepped outside, but it wasn't enough to cool the fire burning inside me. I had expected shouting, crying, begging. Instead, I got venom disguised as concern. I wasn't falling for that again. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't look. I already knew it was from my mother, Alba, or Mateus. I wasn't in the mood for more fake apologies or disguised demands. I walked aimlessly through the streets, letting the sounds of Madrid's early bustle drown out my thoughts. When I finally got home, I collapsed on the couch, mind racing. I knew they wouldn't sit still. But I had no idea what they'd do next. It didn't take long to find out. That same afternoon, an unknown number called. "Hello?" I answered, still tense from earlier. "Good afternoon, Miss Olivia. This is the office of Attorney Herrero. We're calling regarding a complaint from your family." I froze. "Complaint?" I echoed, as if the word didn't make sense. "Yes. Your mother, Mrs. Carmen, claims you're unfairly withholding money and putting her at risk of losing her housing. We'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss the matter." I sat up straighter. "Let me be clear, I'm not withholding anything. Until a month ago, I paid for everything, without any legal obligation." I stopped because I had enough. "That's not illegal." Silence on the other end. "I understand," the lawyer finally replied. "We just wanted to give you the opportunity to clarify before any formal action." "You can take whatever action you want," I said, my voice filled with restrained rage. "There's no case. They have no legal ground." And I hung up before he could say more. I was fuming. Not only had they tried to manipulate me emotionally, now they wanted to legally trap me into submission. Fine. If they wanted to play dirty, I would play smarter. I opened my laptop and wrote an email to my lawyer. I'd make sure they never had access to my finances again. Besides, I had receipts, screenshots, transfer records, messages where they begged for money for frivolous things. They wouldn't win. But I knew they wouldn't back down easily either. A few hours later, another message popped up. This time from Alba. "If that's what you want, fine. But remember, you have your secrets too." A chill ran down my spine. What was she talking about? What were they planning? And the worst part was, I knew they were capable of anything. I spent the night staring at my phone, rereading her message over and over. You have your secrets too. What could they possibly use against me? I tried to recall anything from my past they might twist or distort. They were masters at manipulation, at bending the truth until it became a weapon. The sun came up, and I hadn't slept a second. But I wasn't going to wait for the next blow. I had to be proactive. I picked up my phone and called Alba. It rang several times before she answered. Well, she said mockingly. Look who finally decided to call. Thought you were too busy enjoying your independence. I cut her off. What did you mean with that "you have your secrets too" line? Silence. Then a cold laugh. Oh, Olivia. Did you really think you could walk away without consequences? No one abandons family and gets away with it. I'm not abandoning anyone. I just stopped being your ATM. Call it whatever you want. But you'll find it's not so easy to get rid of us. Mom has things to say. And trust me, you'll want to hear them before they become public. My stomach twisted. Maybe it was a bluff. But they sounded way too sure of themselves. Tell Mom to go ahead and say it. I'm done playing games. Oh, she will talk, Alba said, venom in her voice. And when she does, we'll see who gets the last laugh. She hung up. I stared at my phone, heart pounding. If they thought they could scare me, they were wrong. But then, I opened my social media. They had already started. There was a post on my mother's profile, a photo of us from years ago. The caption read, "When you give everything to a daughter and she gives you rejection in return." It's sad how money changes people. I just hope it's not too late for her to realize the harm she's done. The comments poured in, distant relatives, family friends, people I barely remembered, all saying I was ungrateful. That my mother had done so much for me. That I was heartless. They weren't just using emotional manipulation now, they were destroying my reputation. I couldn't stay silent. I opened my phone and started typing. My heart was racing. I posted a recent photo of myself, calm and composed. Then wrote. It's always easier to tell only one side of the story. But the truth is different. I didn't abandon anyone, I just stopped letting myself be used and manipulated. Sometimes, cutting ties is the only way to survive. I hit post. Reactions came quickly. Some supportive. Others filled with venom, from my mom's side. But at least now they didn't get to control the narrative alone. My phone rang. Unknown number again. Olivia, sweetheart, what are you doing? It was Aunt Julia. She sounded concerned. What I have to do? I'm not staying silent while they make me the villain. I understand, honey, I really do. But this is getting out of control. Your mom is furious. Alba and Mateus are saying you've lost it. I let out a bitter laugh. What did they expect? That I'd keep quiet while they lie about me? I know they've been hard on you. But maybe you should talk privately? Talk? I scoffed. Since when do they want to talk without manipulating me? Julia sighed. I'm just warning you, they're not done. They're planning something. She hung up. And she was right. A new message from Alba popped up. You wanted this. Now deal with it. Don't cry later. My stomach turned. What now? Minutes later, a friend messaged me. Have you seen what they posted about you? I clicked the link and my heart sank. Mateus had posted an old photo of me at a party, drink in hand, smiling. The caption read, some people play the victim, but live lives full of selfishness and excess. Sad how some forget where they come from. The backlash was immediate, offensive comments, angry DMs, people accusing me of things I never did. They were rewriting the narrative. But I wouldn't let them win. I opened my laptop and began collecting everything, screenshots of conversations, proof of payments, their lies. This time I wouldn't hold back. I posted. Since so many are interested in the truth, here are some facts. I paid my family's rent for years. I paid for their luxuries, even their spa days and fake emergencies. I never got a thank you, only manipulation. And the moment I said enough, they tried to ruin me. Here's the proof. I attached screenshots and hit post. The response was instant.